Hi there, I'm Barbara Turley, founder of Energize Wealth, and I'm joined on the blog today by the person who got my blogging career off to a fantastic start and has led to Energize Wealth, the business being born. Yaro Starak is the founder of Entrepreneur's Journey, and he is a superstar in the blogging space. So I really wanted to get him on the blog today to talk about his entrepreneurial journey, but also to find out how we can build a successful blog that has a successful business behind it too. Yaro, welcome to the blog.
Thank you for having me, Barbara.
So to get things started, tell me a little bit about how you got started in the whole blogging world.
Yeah, I'll give you the short version. It's funny, the older you get, the longer the story is, you know.
Yeah.
I started in the late 90s as part of my university studies. I was given a free dial-up internet account. And that was when I sort of fell in love with the World Wide Web, and very early days, no Google, no blogging, no social media, no video, nothing like that.
Yeah.
Just using basic websites and news groups. And I started a card game website. I used to play a card game in high school called Magic the Gathering. It's a pretty geeky game.
I was about to say, are you a closet geek?
Yeah, no, not closet, completely out.
Totally.
More so back then, but yeah. And that was the first sort of commercial business I had, in the sense that it did make money. I had a little card trading shop. I had some advertisers paying money to put banners on my website. Even had a little newsletter which I sent out to my members. And it wasn't a full-time income, but it was a great training ground for learning how internet marketing worked, how to get traffic, how to just even find advertisers and make money. So that was the step one. That led to wanting to build something bigger. Basically, the dot-com bubble had just burst in the early 2000s, and I did still want to do something online. I knew I couldn't get a full-time job. Like for me, full-time employment was that was, I had, you know how people have visions where they see themselves doing great things? Yeah. My vision was avoiding a job. That was as far as it went at that
that's
time.
A good vision to have,
That was my 21-year-old vision. So I knew I had to find a way to make a living. So I actually had a lot of different ideas at the time, but ended up going forward with a proofreading company, which came about. Weird combination, actually. I read a Yahoo print magazine article about a guy in the States who had started an editing company to help students write their entry essays into university in the United States, which is a requirement there. So he had an editing service for that. I also was seeing how, through my studies at university, how difficult the writing of academic English was for non-English speaking background students. So the international students, they were struggling. We had group assignments that we'd have to combine our writing, and it was really difficult to make their academic English work with mine and other members. So I came up with a company that would connect the mostly international students with at the time was sort of postgraduate students. Even some professors became contract editors for the company. And it was actually a great business. It was my main business outside of university, and for the next 2 years I made my full-time income from it. And how it connects with blogging was...
I was just thinking, that's really awesome though, that you actually had business first and then you went into blogging and then turned blogging into a business. Which is what I really, really liked that you did. Yeah, and
it was important to have that sort of experience because it gave me things to talk about on the blog, for starters. My blog was, to connect the dots, I had heard about blogging as a way to get traffic. So I decided to test it out on the proofreading company website. And the blog was an attempt to write about proofreading, essentially, which pretty much crashed and burned because proofreading is
Does anyone read about proofreading?
Well, no offense to the lovers of proofreading out there. I'm sure there's some people that love language that much, but I wasn't a proofreader. I was trying to get clients to a proofreading company. It crashed and burned, but it did show me that blogging was really fun to do. In particular, I love talking about running a business, so being an entrepreneur and that sort of thing. So I decided to start a hobby site called Entrepreneur's Journey and tell stories from, at that time, about 7 years of running a card game website, running a proofreading business, and just telling stories as an entrepreneur, things I was thinking about.
About your own journey, about the journey.
Yeah, and
the journey in the entrepreneurial journey is a scary journey. It's like it's never linear.
No, I mean, I guess that's part of why it's fun and part of why it's scary, right? You never know what's coming next, but that's what I hate about full-time employment. You kind of always know what's coming next, and you everything's linear. It's all capped. You know how much you're going to make, whether you work hard or not work so hard. And that's what I love about entrepreneurship. You get rewarded for the work you put in.
For taking risk and for putting the work in. Yeah. So
that's how blogging started.
So that's your blogging.
That was 10 years ago.
So you started blogging about business. So then tell me how you went from it turned it into a business in itself, because that's the key. I mean, then you realize, well, how do I actually create a business out of this?
Yeah, right. Well, I had some inkling that I could make money from it because I had these other websites. So I knew I could put advertisements on my blog and maybe sell affiliate products, recommend other people's products, even something simple. Amazon has an affiliate program where you could recommend books and you make a few dollars per sale, sort of thing. And the other bloggers at the time were doing that. So I was following guys like Darren Rouse, and there was a few others at the time, Copy Blogger with Brian Clark. And you just sort of see what people were doing. Everyone was doing advertising. That's pretty much the main thing. So I jumped on that bandwagon as well. But around about the same time as I started blogging, I started studying internet marketing, which I was drawn to it.
Really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah.
And to be honest, that's exactly right. When I first saw it, my exposure was there were these guys writing emails to these newsletters, and money would come back. They'd literally just write 1 or 2 emails, and they'd make $20,000, $30,000,
that
even
was my
like
experience too.
$100,000.
When I discovered this, I thought, wow, I've got to figure out how to do this, because this is, so blogging is like the entry point in, I guess, and to the back end of
I saw it too. It was really interesting because I was studying internet marketing but growing a blog and studying blogging at the same time, and I noticed that the bloggers worked really hard. They were content producers. They hated selling. So, that's why they did advertising. They liked that they could just produce lots of content and make money from advertising. The email marketers, or the internet marketers, or really the direct response marketers, they didn't have websites, they didn't have blogs. They basically either bought traffic to grow their email newsletter or cross-promoted each other, sending traffic from one newsletter to another, usually through affiliate relationships, joint ventures. So, and they were great at selling. They were almost always selling, and they didn't have as good a reputation. A lot of people said, I hate those internet marketers for all that spammy email, but they were, they're converting, they're making a lot of sales. So bloggers, in my mind, were sort of like the more honorable, the hardworking, working class, blue collar, giving all their content and getting paid absolute penance, because it was all about a few pennies for advertising. And the internet marketers, not that they were evil, but they just had such a better conversion tool. They were just better doing sales. So what I wanted to do was merge those two worlds. I wanted to take what I was getting from blogging, which was building an audience, establishing trust, making good connections with people, search engine rankings, all the wonderful things about blogging, but marry it with email marketing and get the power of that direct response mechanism, the ability to send an email and have people pay attention to it, not wait for them to find my blog. So I put an opt-in form on my... Took me a year to really figure this out. I was literally blogging for a year. I was studying internet marketers. They all said, get an email list, get an email list, get an email list. Finally took that advice, put a little opt-in form on my blog that said, join my blog traffic tips newsletter. And I had 10 to 20 people a day sign up from my blog audience that I'd built at that time. And that kicked off the next phase for me, which was to start actually selling product instead of doing advertising.
So that's an interesting line there of going, I'm giving, but then where's the line where I start to say, how am I slowly going to start moving the people who love what I do and who are following me up the value chain into a sale? Which is a good thing, right? But it's so the email capture on a website, for example, was the first point for you.
Yeah, though you don't make money just because you capture the email. Obviously, you have to make an offer. For me, at the time, again, I was exposed to what's known as the launch formula. So it was actually a couple of things. I was exposed to Jeff Walker and Product Launch Formula, and not just him, but all of the, I guess, the disciples you could almost call, the launches that were happening from Rich Schefren, Mike Vilsain, John Reese, the StomperNet people. I was also watching Eben Pagan heavily. He did launches, but he also had this sort of information publishing business in the dating niche going on behind the scenes too, which I found really interesting. And then I was seeing some local friends actually here in Australia. They were doing things with membership sites. So they had these sort of pay $50 a month and they'd send out email lessons, and they have like people stay subscribed for 12 months. And I was like, this isn't crazy, and it was so consistent. So I cherry picked. I said, I'm going to do a launch and use those techniques, but I'm actually going to sell a membership site rather than a one-off product or something like that. So that's what I actually did. I decided I've built a blog. It makes $5,000 to $10,000 a month from advertising and affiliate income. I'm going to teach that first. I'm going to teach how to grow a blog. Basically take everything I had done in the last 2 years, get it down into training so it was there. And created this course, did a launch program that was Blog Mastermind 1.0, which I believe is where you came in the picture.
That's where I came into the picture,
You signed up for that program back in 2007 or maybe 2008 for you. And that was great on all levels. It was great because it made my business turn into a six-figure business for the first time. It taught me how to sell my own product. That was the first time I sold my own product. And I had a bunch of people like yourself who went through it and got results. Not everyone, unfortunately. I wish I had 100% strike rate, but there was a few shining stars that have emerged from that first group of bloggers who went on to one of them actually, Mitch Wilson, has built $1 million blog out of it. So he's gone way past what I've done with blogging, which is, it's nice when the student surpasses the teacher. So
maybe you can learn something from him now. Well,
every time I speak to him, you can't help but be motivated. The guy is a machine. So, and that's what opened the doors to creating products. And since then, I've been just creating more product and building out a range of products at different prices to meet different needs in my market, and trying to rely less on doing launches and more on...
So tell me, because I like this idea, because I've gone through a product launch myself. It's quite stressful, there's a lot of work involved, especially in the beginning, as I've talked to you about. So tell me about this concept that you're building out now, this sales funnel, these funnels that you're building out through a blog, and how does a blog lead into a sale? The steps, I guess.
Well, this is funny because going back when I first discovered internet marketing, these guys were actually doing funnels. Like most of them weren't sophisticated at it back then, but the offline world have used sales funnels forever.
I've learned this. The sales funnel has been around, and tripwires and all these things have been out in this market for a long time now.
Oh, long before the internet.
If you're watching Mad Men, this back in the 50s, these advertisers were using these actual techniques.
I think late night TV commercials are the best example of a pre-internet direct
Tony Robbins made it huge in that area.
And if you ever looked into it, when you buy the whatever it is, the steak knives or the blender or whatever,
God knows what.
Often when you call them up, that's when they upsell you to buy more things. So they usually lose money on the first product they're selling, but they make money on the upsells and the sales they make down the line.
And they know how many people are going to actually buy, and
they have the numbers. Right? That's what the funnel. That's what's beautiful about a funnel is they go, well, every time we get a customer, on average, that customer will spend $200 throughout their experience with their company. It might take 2 years for that to happen, but once they get established enough, they know that number.
Well, that's how the customer lifetime value and figuring out what is that figure in your business.
And they get very good at that, which, to be honest, most bloggers would never try and figure out something like a lifetime customer.
I would think you have to be in business a long time to figure it out too, because you get that over time.
You have to even think that way, right? And I didn't have that number. I was learning it. People like Rich Schefren were really hammering it home in some of their training. And so what I did back then was I learned about this funnel, and I was excited about building it, but actually reached a point of burnout after creating 3 courses, 2 of my own and 1 with Gideon Shalwick. And I was like, you know this feeling too. I don't want to do launches. I don't want to teach any more programs. So I took a break doing a startup and went away for a couple of years. And in fact, it was a couple of years ago now that I returned to it with renewed vigor for building
your mojo back.
Get the mojo back to actually want to, does it work? Like, does this whole concept of having a funnel work? So for the last 2 years, I've been predominantly creating product and writing emails that interlink the products together. So someone finds your blog, then you offer something for free, they join your email list.
Yeah.
Then they get the free information, you educate them. It's called pre-selling. Jay Abraham coined that phrase, but you're basically
it's saying... nurturing the lead. I guess the lead comes in, you offer them something to become a lead, as opposed to just a blog reader, and then nurture them along the way.
Exactly.
And then ending in, how do you get the sale at the end?
It's funny because when I speak to bloggers, they hate words like leads, tripwires.
Yes.
Get the customer. It's like, no, I want to nurture my audience.
Give.
Yeah,
a lot of women suffer from this as well. We want to give all the time.
Right.
We don't want to be seen to actually be selling something. But maybe the sale at the end is something they really need.
Well, if you want to have a business, you got to make a sale.
Yeah, you have to make a sale.
So, I think it's just terminology. You can call your people customers, you can call them members, subscribers, your tribe, your fan base, whatever it is. At the end of the day, you're there to service and help them in exchange for making a profit with your company.
Yeah.
So,
well, you have to do the value exchange thing. You get paid, you give value, and you get value back in the form of money. That's how it works.
It's I don't want to go down a personal development sort of channel here, but if you want to have a company, you can't be afraid to make offers and do some selling. Everyone has to do that if you're in business. So what I have done is, it's quite simple. I have month-long email courses at the moment. I have a couple of different things, but just to give you a basic example, I have a traffic e-course. And what I did was I went back into my blog archives and I realized I'd written some articles on traffic, and what I could do is take some of my existing articles, maybe write a few new ones to add to it, and I created this, actually the traffic one's only 2 weeks long. So they get 1 week worth of training where I send them to basically join my email course. I send you a link to a blog post, you study it, and then there's another blog post and another blog post. There's training, it's free, it's teaching you the
teaching you some of the concepts about what you need to know.
Exactly. I do mention my product in those blog posts, and they certainly could buy it then. But what happens is during the second week, when you're on that email course, I have a special deal as well.
Yes.
So the emails will go out. It's kind of like doing a launch. You're basically saying you can grab this product this week only at this special price, and the emails go out automatically. So it's kind of like an evergreen launch in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So you're educating first. You're making an offer all the time. You have to make offers in every single opportunity you can, because people won't buy the first time, they won't buy the second time, they won't buy the third time.
And then we have to stop actually expecting people to buy, because this is something I've learned this year. Stop expecting people to buy, because they won't most of the time. They want, you may have to give more, you may have to find out more angles and find the thing that they really want.
Exactly.
But don't give up.
And if your ego is attached to making a sale,
you could be trashed.
You're screwed. And the first time you make an offer and no one buys, and that's why you give up.
Or you decide you hate selling.
Yes.
Because nobody wants what you have. Yeah.
That's what I love about this. If you set up a selling email sequence that uses content, you are giving away free content. You can set this up once and then have it sit on your blog. You can sit there and blog and just send people to that course whenever it makes sense to do so, and the course will do the selling for you. That's what happens right now. I said to Barbara before we recorded this, I had a sale of an ebook while we were talking, because a person was on my email course, they got the emails, they reached the sale week, and they decided to buy the ebook. And that's happening. I've had that course now. I think I've got 3 funnels, and I've released them over the last 18 months.
So just to be clear then, a funnel, so for example, you've got 3 funnels. Yep. So one of them, front-end funnels, and there's a whole other, we could have a whole other topic on the back end. But so you have these different topics, and your blog post would be about a certain topic, will lead into a certain funnel, little e-course, and then eventually you ask them to buy something after,
I generally ask them all the time. I think every blog post, every blog post is a call to action of some sort. Either join an email list or buy a product. That's
that's really good. Yeah, so not to be afraid to actually ask for the sale.
No, it should be the way.
And part of the what you're writing about should be to ask.
Yes, and it should make sense. That's what I love about it, because that's what I love about blogging. You can write this 2,000 word amazing article that helps them, and then the logical next step is for them to join your course. Why would you not ask them to join it? Yeah,
because actually, are you doing a disservice to your customer by not offering them? Because there's always a next step. There's always more that they need to learn, and otherwise you're leaving them hanging on the edge of a cliff, not knowing where to go next. And they're thinking, well, what do I do now?
Exactly.
So make the offer.
I usually go from blog post to email opt-in. So blog post, join my course. You want more? Go through the course. And I also have, pop-ups on my blog, and I have, different places where opt-ins show up. But you can, I recommend you work your way up to being as aggressive as you feel comfortable doing it. But, remember, you should not think of this as you're forcing someone to buy something they don't need. That for some reason, that seems to be the feeling. The feeling you have when you're trying to make a sale is that I'm trying to make someone buy something you don't want. And you have to remember, they wouldn't buy it if they didn't see there's an outcome that they actually want, that you can help them get. Yeah. I bought $1,000 coaching programs. So have I. And there's a reason why I buy them. I want to learn how to do something, and this is supposed to teach me how to do it.
Well, if you hadn't made the offer for your blog mastermind, and I bought it, and here I am now.
Yep.
So that was the door opener for me into my own business, and I took action, and so I really valued that thing that you offered. So I think that the trick here is make more offers. This is what
companies do every single day all around the world. They sell stuff.
Yeah, they absolutely sell stuff. And this is how you create businesses that are really leverageable as well.
The really beautiful thing about, and I call it a blog sales funnel, is you can set it up and it can sit there working behind your blog. So you spend your day writing your blog posts, doing your videos, doing your podcasts, and whenever it makes sense to do so, you say, join my email course or join this free report, get whatever it is you have. And then once they enter that, the emails are going out automatically, the offers are being made automatically, the product's being sold automatically. So you don't have to really do any more heavy lifting of selling, assuming you build a funnel that actually converts. That's the trick.
Well, that's the trick. And actually a question, and I want to end on this question. Which do you build first? Because, do you build the sort of a following with blogging and then build the product, build a funnel, or do you build a funnel and then drive the traffic into it? Because that's a tricky one. Without, what about the problem, and do you know?
Yeah, I recommend first of all knowing what need you're going to meet. That's
the starting point for anything.
Yeah. So let's say you've got that. Let's say you're pretty confident. I'm going to help. The example I constantly use now is I'm a woman who's just had a baby and I had to lose the post-pregnancy baby weight, and I want to help other women do that. I've just done it myself.
Yeah.
It's a sub-niche of the weight loss market. Let's say that's our target audience. So if someone was that person and they were going to get started, I actually think you can do both at the same time now. You can actually build the blog and build the funnel at the same time. So how I recommend people in my coaching program at the moment is to start simply, aim to have a free email course as your first core creation. And to do that, use blog posts. So I would suggest plan a 5 to 10 part email course, which will be 5 to 10 blog posts that you write that cover the biggest problem you want to help people with. Maybe you're going to just say, it's what to eat after having a baby to lose weight, right? You're going to focus on...
So that's quite a specific, rather than saying, I'm going to focus on how to lose weight after having a baby, it's what to eat to how to lose weight. Yeah, so there could be something really specific.
That's really good. And then I would actually plan the 5 articles I was going to write. I would set up the opt-in form and say, join my course where I will teach you the things to eat after you've had a baby to lose 10 pounds in 30 days, some nice headline like that. And then I would write the blog post, and I'd make sure at the end of it I say join the email list. And I'd write the second blog post and I'd say join the email list. So you're creating the blog content, which actually is the content for the email course, and you don't have a product yet, so that's one of the things missing here. So I actually tell my students, sell phone coaching first. So I would
So still make an offer.
Yes.
Still make the offer. Yeah.
Because you can always swap out the phone coaching offer for your first product once you know what it is. So I would suggest 5 blog posts which become your first 5 emails in your email course. In every one of those emails, you're mentioning the offer of coaching. You could say, listen, read this article. If you want more help, I take 5 people on per month. It's $50 an hour. Here's the place
just
to
make
book.
the offer. It doesn't matter actually in the early stages about what the price is or any of these things. Just make the offer.
Well, I would suggest at least $50 an hour for coaching, so you're taken seriously, and depending on what you're helping people with.
What it is that you're doing,
And then you basically, let's say that takes 3 weeks to write 5 blog posts and 5 emails, and you just need a PayPal button to take money to book a coaching session. You've built potentially a funnel right there.
There's a little mini funnel right there.
You have. The trick is to then go and get an audience into this funnel. But the beautiful thing about that is that exists on your blog then straight away. So anytime you get any sort of exposure, you do any marketing, speak on stage, get exposure on another blog, get on a video, do a podcast, whatever it is you get, they come back to your blog and they're offered this free course straight away.
Yeah.
And it's already got embedded offers for your coaching, and
the beauty is that that's then on autopilot.
It is.
So
If you have the strategy in mind when you start, this is going to be a course. This is what very different from when I started blogging. When I started blogging, let's just write about whatever we feel like, see who shows up, no offers.
See what happens.
Yeah,
you get lots of traffic and then you've no money.
Exactly.
You make no money.
And you don't know your topic. You're just sort of, I like this subject, so I'm going to feel like writing about it.
Yeah.
You can do that today, but you might be floundering about for months to years before anything happens. If you are confident you know who your audience is, then you should go straight to building a converting funnel using a blog, using an email list, and making an offer.
And that's make the offer. That's fantastic. And I mean, I just like, me, I love the strategy of it and actually turning these things into actually making money, because that's what we're all here to do, and obviously to give value, but we've got to get paid for what it is that we do. And this is a great way to actually automate the sales process that we all hate doing in the first place anyway.
Exactly.
So actually it gets you away from having to make that sale all the time.
Exactly, yeah.
Embeds it in your business. Best of both worlds,
really, yeah.
Absolutely. Yaro, thank you very much. That's been really useful content, and I hope people take what you're saying and hop on over to entrepreneursjourney.com and have a look.
Okay, Google my name, Yaro.
Yeah.
That's the way to find me.
That's the way to find it, yeah. And we'll have some links below here, the video. Okay, awesome. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.